You're tuned into 10 Minutes on Topic here at Davis Media Access, and I'm Autumn Labbe Renault. Today, we get to talk about a really wonderful and fun way to honor area volunteers, and joining me is Jessica Hubbard, the Executive Director of the Yolo Community Foundation. Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, let's talk first a little bit about the role of a community foundation, because I think not everyone understands that. And then specifically the mission of the one that you run, Yolo Community Foundation.
Sure, absolutely. So, the Yolo Community Foundation's mission is to inspire and support giving and provide philanthropic leadership throughout Yolo County. And what that means in practice is that we work to inspire more giving in Yolo County, largely through offering donor advised funds and other philanthropic vehicles that make giving easier, tax advantaged, convenient. We also work to support philanthropists through events and one on one support to help them achieve their giving goals, and to serve nonprofits directly as fund holders with endowment funds through grant making and through professional development and networking events. There are, I believe, 750 community foundations throughout the US, so it's part of a much larger movement nationwide and really globally.
Right. I want to take a moment too to thank you and the foundation for all the work you've done around convening various areas of the community around topics relevant under the pandemic, and specifically how they affected nonprofits. That's been a real deep and meaningful community service you've provided during that time. So thank you. And
Thank you so
now
much. I
we
appreciate
get
that.
to we get to have a little bit of fun with National Philanthropy Day, which is going to be celebrated November 16th this year.
Mhm.
So tell us about that event. It's a national event, obviously. And how long has Yolo Community Foundation been organizing a local celebration around it?
Sure, absolutely. So, Yolo County's celebration of National Philanthropy Day dates back at least to 2009, perhaps further. YCF has been around since 2001. So, this is one of our longest standing programs.
Right. And so what happens on that day? And I I always have to ask that question, pre-pandemic, during the
Sure.
pandemic, and as we emerge with a hybrid event. What's the process?
Yeah. So, the purpose of National Philanthropy Day is to celebrate the critical role that donors and volunteers serve in our community. And so, lots of very large nonprofits have annual galas or other events where they're able to honor some of their most critical donors and volunteers. But we also
Mhm.
know that there are dozens and dozens of smaller nonprofits who don't necessarily have a platform for that honoring their volunteers or donors in that way. And so YCF's National Philanthropy Day event is meant to be a platform for all of our local nonprofits, as many as that are interested, to honor the people who make their work possible by contributing both financial resources and their time and expertise. So we bring together, I believe we had about 16 or 18 nonprofits last year, to
Mhm.
each one talks about, shares about, makes a video about the critical work that their donors and a particular donor or volunteer has done for them. And what's great about the event is that it's inspirational not only to see the amazing things that people are doing in our community, but to hear the fantastic stories about the impact that our nonprofits are having in every corner of Yolo County.
It is a really fun event, and we've participated the last few years. I know that the people we've chosen to honor have been very honored by that. I know one of them went on to get a scholarship in addition to that, and she was a high school student. And Davis Media Access got involved as a media sponsor last year when the event had to be virtual, and that's where we come in handy with video production work. So this year, let's talk about what's planned for this year, because we're getting used to this idea of hybrid events. What does that mean for this celebration?
Yep. Well, this year our celebration itself is in person. As you mentioned, sponsored by Davis Media Access as well as by Nugget Markets.
Yes.
We will be under the pavilion at Central Park in Davis, so the area where the Davis Farmers Market takes place, which is our ideal combo between COVID safety and rain safe. So we're thrilled to be able to gather in person this year. But we are also doing videos in two ways. One is that in prior to the pandemic, we would have a sort of presentation style event where each
Right.
nonprofit got up on stage, talked about their recipient. The recipient stood up, made a few remarks, went on to the next one. And so it was very sort of sitting in an audience watching a presentation followed
Mhm.
by a small reception. Last year, we went to all virtual, which is only possible through our partnership with DMA. We could not have pulled that off without you and your team, Autumn. And so this year, we're hoping for sort of the best of both worlds, where we're able to gather in person and celebrate and really share in person. But we will still, each nonprofit is still making an individual video about their honoree. And then your wonderful team will put together like a highlights reel,
Right.
pulling bits and pieces from each of those videos, which I think is going to be a really nice piece that shares about the inspiring work that our local community members do to make this such a great county.
Yeah, and one of the things that was really fun last year is that the chat was very active during the event, and people were applauding each recipient and saying really nice things. It made for a very fun event. Okay, before I let you go today, I want to say two things. One is that it's great to have something fun to focus on right now. I've talked to people today, I've interviewed people today about groundwater and climate crisis, and now I save the best for last in that we have something fun and uplifting to talk about. You also have a survey open at the moment, and I want to give you a minute to talk about that too.
Yep, absolutely. So this is our YOLO donor survey. It's the first time we're doing it. We've been really thrilled by the response so far. And what we're doing is we're asking all YOLO community members, whether they are active donors or not, whether they give $20 or very large quantities of money, to fill out a short survey that's telling us how their giving has changed in the pandemic, how they expect it to change going into 2022, and how they like to engage with nonprofits as donors. And the reason for that is two things. One is that we want our local nonprofits to be able to understand what they can expect over the next 15 months, 18 months, so that they can plan
Right.
accordingly and maximize their impact on local communities. And second, we want the local funding community, foundations like us, individual donors, to understand
Mhm.
what we can expect giving to look like so that we can adjust our giving to make sure that all of our local community members are served and critical needs are addressed. And so we really are thrilled by the participation we're seeing so far and excited to share those results on National Philanthropy Day and then with our nonprofit partners and funding partners beyond Philanthropy Day as well.
That's great. That's really critical and useful data. As a nonprofit leader, I can tell you that having access to that is amazing because giving has not we haven't had a normal year in several years. It's gone up,
Not at
it's
all.
gone down. We don't know what to expect moving forward. So again, thank you for that piece. All right, you have been watching 10 Minutes on Topic here at Davis Media Access, and I've been speaking with Jessica Hubbard, the Executive Director of Yolo Community Foundation. YOLOCF.org for information about everything we've discussed. Get involved, check it out. If you're not nominating someone this year, check out the event. It's really a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot about the nonprofit sector in Yolo County and all the great work that's being done. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.